Well, good evening and welcome to Senior Info. It's the first Thursday of the month.
Yes.
Kelly is here.
March 7th, but it's the first Thursday, the way
Yes.
that it
Yeah.
falls. Yeah.
Thank God
That
we're
leap
into
year,
March.
maybe? Yeah.
We're into March. Spring is just a couple of weeks away.
Every time we think of that, I think of the April 1st storm.
Oh, I know.
That will
You're
never
right.
get out of my head. When I was going to put the snowblower away today, and I just
No,
said,
No,
and
just
don't
in
put the
case,
snow
I don't want
shovels
to be
away.
that guy.
No, don't be, because
By
then
the
you
way-
know it will happen.
Bill Fredericks is our guest today. He's from
Yay!
All Care Medical,
Yep.
which you do handicap accessories and
We do what they call durable medical equipment, which could be anything from what they call bent metal canes and walkers, crutches, but we also do handicap ramps, custom handicap ramps that are
Oh.
temporary. A lot of times people will need them for a few months or a few
Yeah.
years. And we do a lot of those.
Rental?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we rent to own or what.
Okay.
So sometimes they'll get them in and then they'll realize, this is a good
I
thing.
need it. Mm-hmm.
I'll need it longer than I think. So
but it's
Yeah.
a good idea because if you don't need it permanently, you don't have to buy it.
yeah, and people are
And then-
concerned. Well, what about when I sell the house and now I
Right.
got this big ramp attached? So well, we can take it down within an hour.
Awesome.
Right.
So yeah, it's
Oh,
so we do a lot of different things. Incontinence is a big issue with older folks. And,
yes.
And unfortunately, Medicaid, Massachusetts Medicaid is the only insurance in the Medicaid ACOs and MCOs are the only insurance that covers it. Which you would think that, a lot of the elderly, I mean, that's with some of the problems would come, you would think that would be a covered item under Medicare, but Medicare doesn't cover too much in the way of medical supplies, unfortunately.
Right, you really need to have a good supplemental.
Yeah.
And you gotta be careful there because some of them, they sound good and they're giving you all, we were talking earlier off the air,
Yeah.
they give you a lot of services, but they don't give you the ones you need.
Yeah, they do, and, they promise all sorts of things that look good. They do a fancy marketing campaign. They'll get, celebrities that are the same age as the elderly and that they remember them in their glory days. And
Yes.
so whatever he says has got to be true.
That's right.
Well,
look at him.
Yeah, right.
Well, look at him, because he's probably had a lot of, enhancements done, right?
Exactly.
I don't have a day go by that I don't get a call from one of these insurance companies to go on to their program.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
I tell them the same, look,
Oh.
I talked to Russ Swallow.
Oh, I was going to say, Russ is,
He's fantastic.
he's a good guy for that. He's been doing it for years.
Good, go ahead, Carl, you're on.
Hi, good evening. How's everybody doing?
Good,
Good.
all right,
How are
Barry.
you?
Good. I heard a rumor that the meals that used to be twice a week for seniors has been cut down to one day. Is that correct?
It is true. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. So Pete Sabrin, who's been cooking for us for a year now. I can't believe it's been a whole full
I know,
year.
Full year went
He
by.
has decided that he is going to go back into full retirement. So for the months of March and April, we will have one meal per week, and then we're reassessing what we'll do for the future. But we will continue to have some sort of a congregate meal. We're just not sure what that exactly will be, but we are certainly, we see that it's very popular. It's fulfilling a need, and not just nutritional needs, but also the social aspects of it. And so it's not going to go away completely.
So you're
I know
looking
you
for
can't
another
make any
chef.
promises, but do you think you'd be able to bring it back twice a week in the future, or that's still undetermined?
I'd like to have it twice a week, absolutely.
Okay. So now is it going to be just on Tuesdays?
Yes, there are some weeks that we will have meals twice a week because we have other special events going on, but it won't be prepared by Pete.
Okay. Now, does the senior just have to come in, or do they have to register beforehand? How does that work, Kelly?
Yes, so I encourage people, as soon as you're interested in attending one of our events, and not just the meals, any event, give us a call. You don't necessarily have to come down unless it's to purchase a ticket for the premium events, like the St. Patrick's Day, or we're having a Kentucky Derby. Those items you would have to come in person to purchase a ticket. Otherwise, just pick up the phone, call us, tell us what you want to register for, and we'll get you on the list. And I encourage people also to be okay with a wait list, because we all know things happened. People do back out at the last minute. So, we do have people that come off the wait list quite frequently. So.
Okay, and as you know, we're kind of in real bad economic times right now, and if a senior is really struggling or a shut-in is really struggling, is there somebody at the senior center they could talk to? Is that the Shine person, or they just come in and ask for some potential help?
We have an outreach worker on staff. She is there 3 days a week. I'm also a social worker by trade. So I encourage people to come talk to myself or my outreach worker. The Shine Counselor is more for someone that needs guidance with their medical insurance.
Oh.
But certainly for what you're referring to, I would say come talk to me, and then I can make a referral to the right person.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for that info. Because I heard a rumor that they was going down to 1 day a week, and I just wanted to check on that. And appreciate everything you guys do. And thanks for the information. And stay safe and be well. Thank you, Harry.
Okay.
Thanks for calling.
Okay.
It's nice to know how important that is to people, Sometimes you do things all the time you don't really know, but when you hear someone that will miss it, that's when you realize how important it is to a lot of people.
There will be a lot to miss, because you have a good crowd.
We do.
I was going to ask him if he could cook, because if you needed someone to cook, then maybe you could have done that.
I was gonna do that too.
I might fill in a couple of times. Now, I'm not
How many you got to cook for?
a great cook. We usually have about 50.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is a big
Good
crowd.
turnout.
Yeah.
In fact, you gotta register ahead of time, because you won't get in.
Right. We have
Interesting.
wait lists.
I think I'd be interested as a company to do a couple meals, maybe not cook it, but enough meals for everybody. Because I used to be
As a
part
sponsorship?
Yeah.
Oh.
I used to be part of a
Okay.
nonprofit.
We'll talk off camera
Here we go.
or on camera. Go ahead. Yes, I'm all ears.
I used to be part of a homeless outreach group, and we had shelters, and there used to be like 85 people. So occasionally my staff would either cook and bring it over, or would have a restaurant and tell them how many, and then bring it
Absolutely.
over. So
Yeah.
I'd definitely be interested in doing something
Fantastic.
like that.
Yeah.
I'm going
Great.
to put my director of all things good, Billy Fredericks, in charge of that.
Billy, I knew that our paths would cross again. Billy, if you're watching, you're probably not, but you will watch at some point, because
He's
you'll.
watching.
Yeah. Oh, he is? Oh, good. Okay.
He's at his in-laws in Northbridge.
Oh,
so-
good. Excellent. I knew that we would eventually work together again, so I look forward to talking to you, Billy.
But Bill is here because you are in the medical device business,
Yeah.
and people have to realize, not a good idea to go to Walmart and buy a cane, because you really need to be fitted to it.
We talked about this when you did the radio show.
Right.
And we live in a world now where it's easy to go online and
Yes.
buy something and get it and then start to use it. But they haven't been fitted to make sure it's the right size. They haven't been shown how to use it.
Right.
I see so many people walking around with borrowed walkers and canes that they're 6 feet tall, and whoever they borrowed it from was 5'4". And you see them all hunched over. They got the tennis balls. Every time I see it, I'm like, oh no. But you can. There's a lot to some of the supplies that we have, and a lot of times we'll talk to people just to get a sense of their overall health and their overall living conditions. Retail is a small part of my business, so it's not the part of my business where I'm trying to chase after every dollar, trying to sell you this. We're not about that at all. What I try to do is I try to talk to people and say, okay, Tell me, is your bedroom upstairs? Is your bathroom upstairs? How do you get to the bathroom? Do you have any throw rugs? Do you have any furniture in the hallways? You know, things that are gonna end up being in the way at some point if you're compromised health-wise. So when we talked to them about that, they started thinking, well, geez, maybe, you know, I should have. Well, the bathroom is typical. I can't tell you how many people I know that
That's the
know
most
it.
accident-prone place, right?
It's the most dangerous place in the world. But I can't tell you how many people are putting folding chairs in their bathtub. And oh yeah, you know.
I just think about that. I wouldn't do that if it was in good health.
And there's, you know, and a lot of people, they'll go to get in that chair, but the lip of the tub is 18 inches.
Yes.
So they can't even do that, so we have a transfer bench. So these are the kind of discussions that we have. They come in thinking, well, I want a shower chair, and then I say, well, how can you get into the tub? Well, I got a hard time. I hold on to the shower curtain. Like, oh, no. You know?
Wrong answer.
Do you install the walk-in tubs and?
No, we don't. That's a special, that's actually a nice line of business that people are getting into now, customizing homes for,
Right.
because when people come back from World War II in Korea, they built all their homes with the bedrooms on the second floor. It's like they were never gonna get old.
Right.
You know, and now they're finding that they have the old tubs that are hard to get into. They have to go upstairs to get in, you know, to go to bed. So there's a lot of adjustments you can make. The classic one for me is lift chairs. You know, my mother was really compromised, and she had a recliner chair that she kept in the up position
Yeah.
because she didn't have the strength to put it down. So I said, Mom, that's trouble. You're getting in and out of that every day, a couple times a day. And, oh, that's okay. And sure enough, she tripped over it and shattered her shoulder.
Oh,
Now, my thing is, I told him, Mom, I own the company.
Right.
I could have given you a little break on it.
Right?
I give you a good
Exactly.
price, yeah.
Do you know who I am?
But that's how that kind of generation was like, no, that's okay, I'll take care. You're too
Yeah.
busy.
Right.
You know, or
Yeah.
things like that.
I'll manage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you end up doing, I always say you should get this stuff before you need it. Because once you need it, it's kind
Yeah.
of too late. You
late.
could have saved yourself some misery if you'd gotten the proper equipment to be able to help you out. It's not going to take over your life, it's just going to give you an assist, you know?
Yeah, especially what you say, a lift chair. You're every time you get up, you're taking a chance you're gonna fall.
No, absolutely.
With the lift chair, at least you get up and you're in your up position.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's simple.
It's helping you give that, yes.
Yeah.
Now, some people will say, that I know I've had PTs tell me that for injury or something like that, they'd rather have a person using the muscles to get up and out of a chair. But I think when you get older and things just don't work the way they used to,
Right.
I certainly think it's a good product. Good product to have.
Absolutely. Just to give you that extra little,
And it's not, if you get medical grade, we have medical grade where we are, and made in the USA, all wood. They're great pieces of furniture, and they're not that much more than what you'd buy at a bargain place. And, you know, my mother always used to say, cheap is expensive. You know,
Yes.
so if you buy, I can't tell you how many vacuum cleaners I've had, and I wish I bought one good one. You know, because I've gone through a litany of terrible ones that
Yeah,
were
by the
less.
time you got done, you could have bought the good one for
Exactly.
and spent less
Right.
money.
Exactly,
right, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So you're right, and it makes sense that you're talking your lifestyle, your health.
Yeah,
But if you want to stay
Yeah.
in your own home, which
Yeah.
is usually the goal for most
Yeah.
people, you gotta kind of, make some modifications and adapt within your own environment.
and, you know, I can tell you by personal experience, my mother had she had a ranch, and she had a table in the hallway, when the hallway wasn't that big. And I said, you gotta move the table. She wouldn't move it. She said, well, that's where the candy dish is for the kids.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And then she had a round throw rug
yeah,
that I tripped over when I walked in there, and I said, that's gotta go too. And
Yeah.
she said, oh, no.
no.
I
It's
just
hard.
lost an older brother
Yeah.
who fell and broke his neck.
Oh, jeez.
And, he lived, they fused the neck, but he was in such bad shape, couldn't turn his head.
yeah,
had to lay in the hospital bed all day.
yeah,
Wow.
So, you know, he just gave up. Well, he was never the same. We lost his wife a year ago. He wasn't the same since.
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that, you're right. I mean, his house was so cluttered, and he didn't clean it up.
What we're doing now, a lot more of than we used to, is people are buying hospital beds. Some people are renting them,
Yeah,
but then people are either rent to own, or people are just saying, you know what, I need to be able to sit up. I need to be able to, you know, a lot of people are sleeping in chairs. You know, they said, well, I can
Yes.
sit
That's
in a
common.
hospital bed. So, you know, we've been selling quite a bit of those, and you know, the fully electric ones. So it's it makes things a
but
little
they
bit
can work
easier.
out too. If you have a CPAC problem,
Yeah,
a breathing problem, I guess you raise the bed up and sleep in a more upright position, it's better.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. You can raise your feet too.
Yeah, I was gonna
you
say
know?
in the
Raise your
feet,
feet,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, for the heart.
Yeah,
Yeah, so, and it helps you to breathe.
Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, I'm seeing all sorts of people coming around. Usually, it's spurred by the children of the older person, and they just, you know, they just want to help. It's like any of us would do for the parents, you know, is
Right.
just tell me how much it is, if it's going to help her. And then we had this happen last week. A guy bought this beautiful lift chair for his wife, and a couple days later he came back with it. She doesn't want it.
Oh, really? Wow.
You know, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think
That's
there's,
too
there's that idea too that you're buying this, I don't need this.
I
And
know.
if I take this, I'm saying that I can't, I'm
That's-
old or I
yes.
can't handle it.
Yeah, I had a 90-year-old tell me once, I don't want a cane because it makes me look old.
Right. That's the other thing too, people don't realize, use a cane on the good side. But you
Yeah.
see them walking on the bad side with it, because they don't know how to use the cane.
Right.
No,
It would,
that's it,
you would
yeah.
think that you'd put it on the bad side to give you support.
Right,
But when you walk, your arms go the opposite way
yes.
of your legs. So that's why it's got to be on the other side. And coming from a guy who used it on the wrong side once,
You learned.
Yeah.
You learned
Yeah,
yourself.
if you're not
it
trained,
just makes sense, right?
you just go to a store and buy one. You're not being trained. They don't tell you how to use it. They don't tell you how to adjust it even.
Right. To
Yeah.
the right height and
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah, you gotta have the right, it just has to be fitted okay, you know, and I don't care if you buy it from me, if you walk into the store and I see you with it and it isn't adjusted, we'll ask.
Yeah.
Can we take a look at that, and then we'll tell them where it should be. Now, they may not want us to adjust it, but
Right.
it's not about the sale, it's about taking care
Safety.
of the people, and so, yeah, safety.
Yeah, even if you got a certain height and you're comfortable, that doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah,
It
Yeah.
might feel comfortable, but in the long run, you're wrong,
yeah,
and you're gonna cause problems.
yeah. They're coming out with a lot of nice equipment now. Unfortunately, a lot of it is more geared towards the private pay. You know, they actually have a lift chair now for the toilet, a lift seat.
Oh,
It's incredible.
kidding.
I have one, yeah. So you're on the toilet and you press the button and it helps lift you up. It's pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good to
Well, that's
know.
another thing,
Okay.
A lot of toilets are built low, and when you get older, that's harder to get up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always contend that the knee has to be at least parallel. If the
Right.
knee's above, you're gonna have a hard time getting up.
Now,
You know, and usually
I
there's
was gonna
no,
say in the
and people are
the
using their
support.
towel rack or their
the
sink.
Yeah,
toilet
and-
paper
Oh,
holder.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and,
and they're strong enough to hold towels up, but not you.
No.
Yeah,
No. Exactly.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But you got toilet seats that you actually can buy, not too expensive, that'll raise the height.
Yeah, we have those, and they've even done a lot better with that too. Before it used to be just and we still have those 4 or 6 inches that goes on the toilet, and then you lock it in.
Oh, right.
Well, now they have them where you can take the seat off, and put the whole unit in. that's
Oh,
higher
nice.
with the seat.
Okay,
And then they have them with arms now as well.
Right.
So
I've seen that.
they've
which
kind of
is
stepped
nice.
it up a little bit with that. And it's all personal preference. I mean, some people don't have the room in their bathrooms to have,
Right,
railings go out that far,
Right.
but, so.
Yeah, they don't build houses with handicap bathrooms.
No, no. Thankfully,
no.
most places have them by now. Very rarely do we go into a place and they have the old round toilets,
Right.
that are short.
yeah.
But yeah,
For someone that needs handrails or that type of thing, do you have somebody that would install them, or do you recommend? Do you like refer them to somebody that can?
the question
do that?
I get more than any other, we don't for a simple reason. Number one, liability, because I don't have a construction.
Right.
You have to, and that's what home modification companies are doing. They're getting people that are skilled and licensed in construction
Okay.
to do it, because when you put them in, obviously it has to go into a stud.
Oh, yeah.
And some of these bathrooms are pretty fancy, what you're drilling into. And there was a time where I had a guy that I would refer to, and he did a pretty good job for the most part, but it just, I didn't feel as though we were as professional doing it as we needed to
Okay,
be, so
right.
that's why we backed off.
Yeah.
It'd be a nice little side gig for
It
some
would
of
be.
these companies
Yes.
that like the house husbands, you ever hear of them?
Yes.
Husbands for
You
hire.
know,
Yeah.
yeah, husbands for hire, and if you could get one of those guys that I could call and say, hey,
Right.
can you get out there and do this? And I just supply him with that, and he takes care of the rest.
Right.
That'd be a good
Well,
thing.
you still supply the railing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we have the railings.
But you have to get your own contractor to install.
Yeah, a lot of times people live in like either assisted living or public housing, so they have maintenance staff, and the
Right.
maintenance staff will put them in.
Exactly. Which
That's
is
the
great.
ideal situation
Yeah.
for us, is that we just send it over there and they put them in.
Right. Yeah.
Oh.
Do you do deliveries too?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think actually we bought a transport wheelchair from you, and maybe it was delivered to us.
Oh, yeah, we deliver everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. We'll talk about that offline, too.
Okay. All right. Those transport wheelchairs, they're a hot item too, and people love those because it's so easy just to get in and out of the car.
Yeah,
We keep one on site. It says Northbridge Senior Center all over it, so
Really?
that we
So it
can
doesn't
loan it out.
disappear.
It comes back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
well, they've got a product now that's great. It's expensive, though. It's, well, I shouldn't say that, but it's high. It's like in the 300s, but it's actually a combination wheelchair and transport chair.
Oh.
Because
okay.
when you're in a transport chair, you have the four small wheels.
Right.
And you can't push yourself around. The transport chair is just for that, transport. You have someone with you who can wheel you around as soon as you
Right.
go in the doctor's office, things like that. But if you're at home and you want to get around the house, you can't
Yeah, you
really
need the
use
big
it.
wheels with the-
Well, now they got the big wheels that will come off when you use it, and the small wheels there, so that you can use the big wheels at home and then take
Okay.
them off to do the transport, which is
Oh,
pretty
nice.
cool.
That is nice. That actually
But
is
again,
worth the
it's-
investment.
Yeah,
$300.
yeah. Again, it's, it's a life choice. If that's gonna make my life easier at home and going to the doctors and everything like
Right.
that, then, yeah, then you'll figure out that,
Yeah.
it's worth it, but, yeah.
But there's a good reason to contact you. There's a lot of new things coming out all the time.
yeah,
And you're aware of what's coming out.
yeah.
If you go down to CVS, they don't know what the heck.
No, it's, it's like anything else. They carry a lot of stuff, a lot of equipment, and a lot of medicines and everything else, but then there's not expertise in
Right.
that particular field. That's all we do, And we just built a new showroom last year. Retail business was not really a big part of what we do because it's mostly insurance and Medicaid and all that, and that seems to be what takes up 99% of our time. But we found that we had more people coming in, so we really had to step up the game as far as retail. And I built a showroom on the back of the
nice.
building, and it's beautiful, and it's got stuff you can see,
And
get
try.
in, and try.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's nothing worse than getting something online, and then you get it, and you're like, that's not kind of what I thought.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're right. I hate buying online.
Yeah.
I like to look at what I'm buying and,
Exactly, make sure
That's
that
it,
it's the
but-
right fit.
I mean, in some cases, I don't mind buying online because I can't find it anywhere else.
No, no, but something like this where it's,
Right.
you know, an important safety tool
Oh,
to
absolutely.
use,
Yeah.
yeah.
We had a
It's good to
person
try.
that was all over the place in the neighborhood. They lived in a neighborhood where they liked to be out all the time and really couldn't anymore. So they came and asked us about a scooter. Now, scooters for Medicare is a nightmare as far as the paperwork and all that, and they're expensive. And the scooter companies have figured that out, and they started building not a smaller, but not as I don't know what the word is, not as complicated as the insurance ones that would be for sale. So I think we can do them like for 1,500 or something like that. But they got like a 6 or 8 hour battery,
Oh, wow.
so you can run around the neighborhood
Oh,
all
you
day.
yeah, you do a lot
And
of
they're pretty
driving.
cool. And I got one
Yeah.
in the store. So
Yeah.
I mean, you can take it in the driveway. One guy, no, that was another thing. But I mean, another guy bought
Off camera.
a knee walker, and he
Oh,
wanted to
yeah.
take it down. Our
Oh,
driveway
no.
has a
Oh.
hill, and he says, "I want to try it on the driveway." I'm like, "You just got in a cast. Why you want to get in another one?"
Exactly,
But he
yeah,
did.
yeah, oh, all right.
Typical
yeah,
man,
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Well,
That's another thing, scooters and wheelchairs, you really have to be fitted to them, don't you?
For the most part, again, the discussions you have is, how are you going to use it? Are you know, I know
Yeah.
someone that's in a transport chair that's in it for 6 or 8 hours a day. That's not good.
Right,
It's
they're not made to be sitting in
It's
for hours.
no. And even some wheelchairs, you know, there's cushions that you can buy anywhere from $40 to $400.
Yeah,
Depending on the pressure and stuff like that. But it's extremely important. If you're going to be sitting all day, and an older person with skin breakdown can cause more health problems than, you know, decubitus
sores, right?
ulcers, and and those are real hard to take care of, especially if the person's diabetic.
yeah, and then they get
So,
infected and first thing you know, people can die from them.
Yeah. So again, you say to yourself, you say to the customer, you know, I can get you this cushion for, you know, relatively inexpensive, give you a little bit of cushion, but if you're gonna be in it a long time, and if you're a bigger person, you're gonna need some sort of pressure stabilization, so we might look at some different things, and it'll be costly, but again, it's
Yeah,
a,
but here you are, you're spending most of your day in that chair.
yeah,
It's worth making that extra
It's
investment
cheaper than
to be
having to
comfortable.
take care of a pressure ulcer or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
That where you're, end up being hospitalized or under the care of, you know, medical professionals for a long time.
I know,
Yeah.
I know.
But you know, it's a cheap investment when you're gonna spend most of your day there.
Right,
You
exactly.
Yeah.
figure out by, you know, break it down by the hour and you figure you're not spending that much.
Yeah, and you know, the same thing with stairs and, you know, and getting into the house, and again, you know, going up to the second floor every night. There's,
You sell a chairlift to go
The stair lifts,
upstairs?
I don't. I have a company that I know that does a real good job with it.
Oh,
and,
okay.
And so what I do is I keep their paperwork on hand, so I'll refer them out to them. And they come out, they assess it, they give them a price right there, and
Right.
then and they can shop around. There's other companies around that do it, not a lot, but everybody that I've sent there, I haven't heard a complaint from.
Nice.
And it makes a difference, you know, and sometimes I think they may even have a program where if they put the chairlift in for someone who was sick and then they didn't have it that long and the person passed or whatever, I think they'll come in and give you take it out again and give you some sort of
Oh,
payment back. I'm pretty sure that they did have that as a program in the past, but
Okay.
you know, 'cause they can reuse that stuff, and that company does a lot of charity work too. So I imagine they would do something like that for charities, you know.
Is there any any type of insurance coverage for stair lifts?
What they always told me, no, is the short answer, is go to your local, I don't want to say maybe Knights of Columbus, Lions Club,
Okay.
community type thing, and Easter Seals. Easter Seals is one of the
Yes.
number one places to go for stuff. Now, whether or not you get approved, and I don't know what the approval process is, but even this stair lift company had told me that Easter Seals is the,
Oh, good to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
we
So
had a
there are-
situation, we had a Legionnaire who needed a ramp. And I found out, he says, they were willing to give, I think, up to $15,000
Wow. To help with.
to help with putting the ramp in, but then
Okay,
they decided they didn't wanna go with the ramp, so
yeah,
do it, but, cause they needed quite a ramp, because of the way the house was configured.
okay, yeah,
Yeah, that's another thing with the ramps is we comply with ADA.
Yeah.
So you can only have a certain grade. And
Yeah.
I've gone by houses that have 3 steps and the ramp is like this. It's like, who's gonna be able to push them up that ramp?
right.
Yeah,
You know, so you really do have, and sometimes to do ADA, you're gonna have to go down, take a right, take a left, just to
Yes.
be able to, depending on the house. What we do is we actually go out to the house and take the measurements, take pictures, and then we send it to the ramp company and they design the ramp.
Nice,
And then we get the price, and then we call the customer, and I think we're usually like a week out every time we do
Wow.
it, and maybe even shorter.
that's a great turnaround.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is, and, you know, it only takes a couple of guys to go out there for an hour, hour and a half, for the most part, unless it's something extravagant, but,
Right,
yeah,
these are aluminum ramps.
yeah, aluminum ramps.
which
and-
again is great because if you go to sell the home, you can remove that ramp.
Well, even in my case, I had a hip replacement, but it was traumatic. It was broken, so I had to go to rehab for a
Okay.
while. And when I came home, my staff,
Yeah,
Jeff and his brother Joe, put the whole ramp in my front of my house.
okay,
So I was able to get in the house,
yeah,
and then when I was
Awesome.
done, they took it out.
yeah,
Yeah,
And we keep the old, the used parts, because sometimes if people don't have the money, we'll say to them, well, if you don't mind a couple of used pieces in
Yeah.
there. And also we'll do some stuff with the Knights of Columbus and Sutton. I was a member there. And, you know, they'll need a ramp for every once in a while. It's funny because we'll give them the ramp, then when they don't need it, we take it out, then
Yeah.
someone else needs it, we give them the same ramp, you know?
exactly, yeah,
So,
that's great though.
yeah,
What a wonderful
yeah.
resource that is,
Yeah.
yeah, fantastic, great,
yeah, because they can be a lot of money.
If you haven't built, you know, custom, yeah. These ramps can be, I think, most of them, most that we have done, I think, are under 5,000. But most of them are a lot less than that. We've done some too that inside the garage. So they come out to the garage and then they're 3 or 4 steps down.
Yep,
And then it comes right out. So it's different for everybody. You know, it's such a personal thing that
Right.
you have to really figure out what in my life is hindering me at this point and how can I solve it. And that's kind of what we're in the business too, because when they come and give us these problems, we can offer the suggestions and say, well, you ever think about trying this or that, you know, and it just gets the wheels in motion, you know, to try to
right,
figure out how to do it. And we realize too that usually the people that want, and a lot of them are on fixed budgets, so they can't
Yes.
really, you know, all of a sudden they get hit with this, and now I gotta go out and buy all this equipment. That's why we've always maintained low pricing, because it's not a big part of my business. That's more the community part of my business. You know, the people I see in Goretti's and
Right.
you know, see everywhere, and
Yeah.
you know, I don't want them pointing at me saying, you charge $10 more than this guy.
yeah, you have to live with all your people. And how long have you been in business?
Believe it or not, April 1st to be 24 years.
Wonderful.
It's
That's
crazy.
where'd the time
fantastic.
go, right?
Huh?
Where'd the time go?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you look back, geez, it seems like yesterday I started.
It,
Yeah.
it does. It really does, and so much has happened, and you know, I remember when I wrote the business plan, you know, I just wanted to be able to get by, and just
Yeah.
like maybe 1 or 2 people working there, and I got 14 people. I got our own building. I got the showroom. I got the van. You know, and I'm on committees with national committees and state committees, and so it's really branched out quite a bit over the years. It's been a lot of fun. I've had some great people, though. I'm only as good as my staff is, because they do all the work. You know, they're all the face-to-face people, and they are excellent.
Oh, yeah,
And it
yeah,
sounds like
it's-
longevity on your staff, because when you mentioned Jeff, he came out to the senior center, and now Michelle's been with me, is it 8 years now? So it must have been 8 years ago.
And Jeff's
And
been
he's
there.
been there longer than that,
Jeff
right?
walked into the job holding a car seat with his son in it. And his son just is graduating high school this year.
Oh, wow.
So it's been 18 years.
18
That's how I
years.
can gauge
Yeah.
how long.
That's how you
people are.
know, yeah.
But I get 2 people coming up on 20, and so it's,
Nice. Yeah,
we try to make it comfortable. I always thought, if I have you for a third of your life, 8 hours a day, for 5 days, let's have a little bit of fun, get some work done,
Yeah.
make some money,
Absolutely.
and make a living, and have some fun doing it.
absolutely.
Well, you spend more time with them than you do your family.
Yeah, sometimes it feels like it, yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, let's talk about family. So,
Well, the family's involved now.
It's only a matter of time. Yeah, we're very, very proud to have my son Billy as part of the business, and he was 4 years old when I started, and you talk about going back, and would I have a picture, that would come to this point, and he started working for me in the fall, and it's been outstanding. I mean, he's, I know that I'm biased, but even if I wasn't, he's a great person to be around.
Yeah.
And you've been around him,
Yeah.
and working for Senator Fatman has been a real plus in his life, because he's been able to troubleshoot a lot of issues. He's been able to have empathy with people going through tough times, and that transfers perfectly over to my business. And, so you always get to this point where, I'm 65, I've got a daughter that's got 3 more years of college. How long do I want to do this? And then what? I got a staff of great people. What am I going to do? Sell it to somebody? And, mergers and acquisitions is a big deal in my industry. And they're paying a lot of money for companies, but this would be a much easier thing for me, having started it from nothing.
absolutely.
To have Billy come in, and he's willing to put in the hard work. He's not coming in like the Prince.
No.
They do call him Prince William at
Do
work.
they?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. But yes, he will make you even prouder because
If that's possible.
I think it will be. I think so. I have a lot of faith in you, Billy.
Yeah, he's.
Well, having worked for a state senator, he knows how to put a lot of hours in.
Oh yeah, he's not afraid to work. It's funny
No.
because he never was. When he was in high school, he went to Whitensville Christian and he was in the drama. And people used to say to me, how come you don't make your son get a job and stuff during school? Like at the supermarket. I said, he's in drama. He's coming home at 11 o'clock at night.
Right.
He's working.
Exactly.
He's getting all the skills he
Yeah.
needs.
He can work the rest of his life.
Right.
He's not going to have that kind of an opportunity.
Showing up on
Yeah.
time, having integrity,
Yeah.
working. I mean, he was doing all that in school with the drama department, also with
Exactly.
choir. So, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
you learn those skills. It doesn't always have to be, I always said, it would have been a shame having him stock shelves instead of doing what he ended up doing
Exactly.
to get the skills and talent that he had.
And just
And it's paying off now because you say he interned for Ryan when he was in college and then got the job out of college. So, and he was in the middle of it during COVID. So
Right.
when the unemployment and
exactly.
and
But
all
they
that
were
stuff,
dealing with
and
a lot of issues.
he was on the
Yeah.
phone 24/7. Trying to help people and so it's. And now to have him in my place is it's a blessing beyond anything I could have
Yeah,
imagined.
absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
your main part of your business is helping people.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not like going and buy a used car.
No,
You're talking to people that have a problem right now, that they need help,
yeah,
and they need someone that knows what they're doing to help them.
yeah. And as I say, we try to make them think a little bit more forward. If
Right.
you're having problems doing this, are you having problems doing this too?
Right.
Because let's see if we can solve it all
Yes.
instead
Exactly.
of something happening and then you having to come back.
Let's look at the whole
You know.
picture. Right.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And let's all do it in one chunk and get your place, all situated for you to be comfortable. And also for family members to be comfortable. I know that, some people are living alone, and their family members are like, geez, I don't know how they cook. I don't know how they get up and down the stairs. I'm not there. So they want some sort of level of comfort as well.
Well, you're having more and more of it as the population is aging, that are staying home.
Yeah.
You have a lot of job security.
Well, this is which is good and bad.
Yes.
It's good, obviously, because we've been in business for 24 years. We've got a lot of goodwill in the community and stuff like that. But with the people that are in this business for the money only have taken advantage of that fact that they know
Yeah.
that so you got fly-by-nights coming in from all directions.
Yeah, you gotta be very careful.
Promising everything, and it's, it's not always good. You have to, buyer beware. You have to kind of, when I go I'd rather go to a little hardware store than a big hardware store, because I don't know what I'm doing. I
Right.
need to talk to someone.
Right,
You
exactly.
know,
Yeah,
and
good point.
so I think there's always going to be room for a company like mine where we can sit and we can talk to people and let them try things and let them figure stuff out. Take it home. If it doesn't work, bring it back. I mean, whatever you need to do.
Yeah. How about repairs?
No. Again, well, it depends too. Medicare, as I say, I don't do a lot of Medicare, but Medicare, you're required to service the equipment for the life of the equipment.
Okay.
That was a new law a few years ago.
Interesting.
It's a nightmare. What I do, what I would do is I just give them a new one.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't, it's just
It's
give them a
not
new one.
worth
I'm not gonna
trying
go.
to fix it.
So we've had some situations where we've had people that have come in, very rarely repairs on, let's say, a rollator or transport chair with the brakes, something like that. We'll just tighten them, stuff like that, easy stuff like that we'll do. But as far as buying parts and pieces and all that, you're just better off at that point. Again, it's a liability thing. I don't trust my ability to fix things. We have two guys that are really good, but there's a certain level that you want to stay at as far as
Absolutely.
fixing things.
Yeah.
And then once it gets beyond that, I think you either need to go to a professional or consider buying a new piece of equipment. It depends on how long they had it too,
That's true.
Yeah.
It's probably worn out. It's
Yeah, and again, a lot of
Life.
people, I use it, this is maybe the third person that's used that same person's equipment because they keep passing it down,
yeah.
So you don't know how many hours are on
Yeah, sure.
each piece of equipment,
Yeah.
you know.
Insurance companies, how are they to deal with? I know this is going to be a hot topic. I'm sorry, but
Well, how do I even go here? Insurance companies, they put up a lot of, the way I tell patients is, look, if you're the one paying for an equipment, wouldn't you want to know why the person needs it and that he really does need it? And I said, so you can look at it that way. The insurance does have a right to say, well, wait a minute, I'm not just going to send it to you because you said send it to me. What's the diagnosis? What's the outcome? What's, things like that. So they can get a little bit too far on the edge with paperwork. A lot of times they'll paperwork you to death, and then I can't tell you how many times people come in and they'll say, so I have to do this, 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 and this. How much is it? $50. Here you go.
right? Exactly.
And the thing I don't like about that is the insurance is off the hook. They've made it difficult
know.
enough. They've put up a barrier enough to like, as a son, I would buy it for my mom and dad. I wouldn't, if I'm gonna wait 2 or 3 weeks for it to get approved and get paperwork
You
and
don't
all
have
that.
that kind of time sometimes.
Right.
You need it.
Right.
Right.
Some insurance companies are better than others, and we do a lot of Medicaid. And the state of Massachusetts is very good with their Medicaid. Unfortunately, a few years back, they split it up into ACOs and MCOs. And so now you have Medicaid as the top, like, let's say, the top of the tree, and then the branches are Fallon, Harvard. They all have
A med-
Medicaid,
product. Yeah.
and they all have their own different rules.
Oh, okay.
They're supposed to be the same as Mass Health, but they
Right.
vary on. So for us as an industry, it's kind of hard to navigate that all the time. And they also have their different pricing, because they figure, well, if we're gonna get in the middle of this, then we're gonna get, how are we gonna get paid? We're gonna get paid from Medicaid used to pay you $100, we'll pay you 85, and we'll take the 15.
Right.
That's what they're doing. So then it makes us get equipment that not the best equipment that we can get. We get good equipment,
Right,
but not the best we could get, because now we're being nickel and dime
yes,
with that. So it's tough. People, especially elderly, really have to be careful in the secondary insurances, because unfortunately with people with insurance, they don't realize what they have until they have to access it. And then they found out, oh no, that's not, I thought that was gonna be covered. I thought this was gonna be covered. It's not covered. Excuse me. So, yeah, they can be tough.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
The private insurances are all different. Most of the interactions I've had with them have been pretty good.
Okay. Yeah.
But again, everybody's got their own rules, and they want to really make sure that you need it, which I don't blame them. There's new products that come out all the time. Like right now, CGMs is a big deal, continuous glucose monitors. And,
oh, okay, you sell those,
well, I was gonna.
well, you were going to, you,
They are being, well, once they came out and they were started being reimbursed by insurance, the usage has gone through the roof. So anytime the usage goes through the roof and Medicare is paying for it, the first thing they do is audit all the companies that do CGMs. So now they'll come in and say, wait a minute, you didn't do any CGMs a year ago, and this year you did 15,000. What's going on?
Right.
You know, so, and then, the audits are very arduous, and you don't win a lot of them, even if you've done everything right. If you miss one cross T or you didn't dot an I, they can take it all back. So it's kind of a
That's
risk.
risk. I was gonna say
you
that's
know?
a huge risk.
It's risky.
Yeah.
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 I'm diabetic. I checked into the ones that work on your phone.
Yeah.
And, well, first thing they told me, that was a year ago, they told me, you can't use it, you can't get it, Medicare won't pay for it because you're not on insulin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't wanna be on insulin if I
No.
don't have to, so, fine, okay, I'll keep pricking my finger.
Yep.
And then, there was one on the internet said, oh, no, you don't need to be on insulin anymore. I called them up. Oh, no, and they do all the paperwork. So I said, okay, but I haven't heard from them now, it's been about 2 months. I haven't
Yeah.
heard.
Yeah, the CGMs.
But then I heard from somewhere else that Medicare isn't too happy with them now because you're not drawing blood. And so they're wondering about the accuracy of them.
I think the accuracy is okay. I think what they're trying to figure out is what kind of, how to categorize the machine. Because there are some, the state of Massachusetts Department of Revenue has actually kind of reclassified it to be a taxable item. So, and we're working through that right now. We don't know if that was just an opinion or whether or not it was a rule or law put in. But if you'll notice on the internet, you'll see all sorts of ads for CGMs now because a lot of people are using them for weight loss because they can monitor their glucose. The way they advertise it is you eat an apple and then you can see what the apple did to you. So now you
Right.
know, don't have an apple. But where they get you is for so much a month, you also get a dietitian to talk to, and that's so you join in the whole club.
Right.
So it's like you know, Viagra was a blood pressure pill. That's what,
Right.
you know, and then all of a sudden that, you know,
Yeah.
that went to what that went to. So I mean, they start seeing different ways to use them, and I think if you buy them, they're a good $300 to $400. If you buy the whole, you know,
The whole thing.
yeah, and plus you have to continue to buy the part that goes on you. I don't even know how long they keep them on.
Well, you know, I have a monitor, a meter, and that thing, well, those, you can get them for, I think they're $25.
Yeah,
But the strips
Right.
are expensive. Most, my insurance pays for them.
yeah,
I have a $25 copay, because they're probably over $100.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, years ago, they, you know, with the competition between all those companies, they decided to make they were giving away monitors.
Yeah,
Because
just
the
to-
money
so
was
then
being
you get
made
you
on
on
the strips.
When you buy renew the strips.
Yeah.
That's where they're making their money.
Yeah, but the insurance has kind of cut back on that too. The insurance is like Medicare came and said, well, wait a minute, we're not going to pay that kind of money. We're going to pay this kind of money.
Right.
Right.
And so again, the only way that a company like mine would be profitable to do that is to do 1 million of them. Because you're not making much on each one of them.
Right.
And you know, in order to stay in business, you do have to turn a profit.
Well,
And,
yeah,
Yeah.
the
and, you
government
know,
doesn't realize that, but,
yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, there's not really a conception of, there's no conception of business-wise of what kind of profit needs to be put in there. Like we do prior approvals for Medicaid, for incontinence, and for nutrition. And in that process, I identified it's a 13-step process before we send the product out. You have to get a letter of medical necessity and a prescription from the doctor. You have to check eligibility. You have to do the application of Mass Health. You have to get the Mass Health application back. You have to check eligibility again. You have to call the customer. You have to set up delivery. So you go all the way down the line, and all they're looking at it is, well, if you're paying this and you're paying that, that's a big profit. They don't realize all that other
Yeah.
stuff.
All the work in
You know, I
between.
always say, if
Yeah.
you want to treat me like a commodity, then have the patient, that's when a patient would come in and say, I want that, I give them that, and they give me money back right
Right.
there.
yeah.
I said, but when you're going towards third-party billing and documentation requirements, it changes everything.
Yes.
And there's, I believe that it's necessary to do that, to have documentation requirements and things like that, so that there isn't abuse of the products.
'Cause,
You know?
yeah, there's a lot of abuse with Medicare.
Yeah, they just found here's something that, again, they just found something, there was a $2 billion fine charge to, $2 billion was billed out in catheters from a company called Pink Blossom Boutique, all right? They got the Medicare number, they bought Social Security numbers, they billed out millions in catheters, and then they disappeared.
Yeah,
Wow.
So, you
nothing
know,
that was actually there.
No.
Yeah,
but then the rest of us in the business, they start looking at all of us in
Right.
the
Of
same
Yeah.
light, you know?
Right,
But
right.
the thing with Medicare, and I'm going back 15 years, I sat on a panel 15 years ago down in Washington DC, and I said to Medicare, CMS at the time, I said, how come you don't look at it like credit cards? Like, all of a sudden, if someone who spends $20 a month spends $2,000, they get a call.
Right.
yeah,
Why would you not have real-time
yeah.
information like
If they would have
that?
checked that company out, they would have found that was a fake company.
Right. Back in the day, what they used to do is they used to send the company a letter and say, we're coming to check on you.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
there
Yeah.
you go, so
Yeah.
simple, but the bureaucrats don't want to do the work either.
It's, yeah, a lot of it doesn't make any sense. And there are good people in the government and everything that do it for the right reasons. But sometimes, it's just such a big animal to be able to make, common sense decisions,
Yes,
and that should never happen. That a company like that can,
Right.
fraud the government like
and
that.
that destroys the whole system.
It does,
It makes it tougher for the legitimate companies.
right,
Family-owned business.
Right.
Who's just,
yeah. And as I say,
trying to make a living.
I get audited on Medicare stuff all the time, and I do hardly any.
Right.
And they, the audits are fine, they just want to check on all the paperwork. I'm saying, if I do this little, and you're checking up on every claim, how could I ever want to do a lot more of them?
Right.
Because I
Right.
spend my time answering questions from you guys,
Exactly.
whether I did it right or not,
Right. Yeah.
And that's another expense. Your
Yeah.
time is an expense. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
come on.
Yeah. A lot of insurance companies will audit as a regular part of business, which, I agree with too. I mean, I think I think everybody should be audited to a certain extent, and so they can check up on their vendors and
Right.
make sure that everybody's doing the right thing. And you gotta know that when you do get that audit, it's time. I got all the paperwork, I don't have any problem with that, but it's time to put it all together.
Right.
And get it in, and generally the findings are, fine. But it costs me a lot of money to get the findings and everything,
Yeah. Yeah.
It seems like IRS is the same way. They go after the little guys
Yeah,
because they're easy.
because they're easy. And they'll pay.
Yeah, right.
Because they're
The
scared.
big corporations, they know it's going to be a big problem because they got all kinds of lawyers and
Yep.
It's a lot
accountants,
of
and
back and forth.
it's going to take forever.
I got audited by the IRS once, And when they were through with me, and I had my accountant, I had to hire my accountant to go through all this stuff. And
Yeah.
when they were through with me, they owed me $87. I'm thinking, I just spent a fortune on accounting for you to
Right.
give me a check for $87.
Exactly, yeah.
Could have come like $8,700, then, okay, it was well
Right.
worth it, but,
They owed me.
yeah.
How many times did
At
that
least you
happen?
got a little something out of it.
Right. The satisfaction
Oh,
of
right,
of doing
yeah.
the right thing.
Yeah, definitely.
You gotta sleep at night, you know?
Oh, definitely, yeah, honesty and, yeah.
Well, Bill, it's been interesting.
Yeah, it sure has.
Thank you for coming. People want to get,
24 years.
I was gonna say, it's been
People
quite a
wanna get a hold of
road,
you?
quite a ride, right?
if anyone wants to get hold of you, what's the best way?
The best way is to either email me personally at bill@allcaremed.org, or they can call the store and talk to anybody. Usually, I don't know as much as everybody else there, so it's good to just call.
But you're
No,
located
I
right in
don't know.
Millbury.
Right in Millbury, yeah, we got a
On,
showroom. Come on in and we'll
Grafton
show you
Street.
things and, yeah,
And
and,
if you're familiar with Millbury, it's just up the road on Grafton, heading toward Grafton,
yeah,
right after Goretti's.
yeah, right after Gordy's on the, it's an eighth of a mile up the street. And we're right on the main street, so,
And you got a
parking
great
back.
showroom,
Yeah,
so you can actually go in and see the stuff you got.
yeah, see it and try it and understand it and talk to us about it. And you don't have to leave having to buy something. If you come in and leave with more knowledge and comfort of what you need to do next, and you don't buy anything from me, we're all fine with that. We're all
Yeah.
fine. Because sometimes we can, there are things that are out of our hands too. you
Yeah.
know?
But education is
Oh, yeah,
a part of what you do too,
Yeah.
and, yeah.
yeah.
The worst thing in the world is to buy a device for assistance in maneuvering and using it wrong.
Or not using it
Or
at
not-
all,
or
Oh,
not
yeah,
using-
yeah, that's
Yeah.
another thing, yeah.
yeah. Using that walker as, something to put your clothes on or.
Yeah,
My mother,
Yeah.
my mother called me once and said, I have a over the bed table that really isn't working. I said, over the bed table? I didn't send you one of those. And she says, well, I know, I got a flyer in the mail.
Oh, no.
I said, do you have any idea what I do for a living? And then she says to me, but it was inexpensive. I said, Mom, I could have given it to you for free.
Exactly, right, yeah, yeah.
I got all sorts of mom stories.
I bet you do.
but there
Oh,
again, come and see you and get the right one.
Yeah,
And that's why it wasn't working very well, because it wasn't the right one.
right. Yeah, yeah. We try to do our best to make sure that people are taken care of.
Right. Well, thank you for coming in, Bill.
Thanks for having me. This has been enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
wonderful.
and thank you.
Wonderful resource in our area and, yeah.
And Kelly will be back the first Thursday in April.
April.
So maybe if
That-
I'm not here, you'll get a word in edgewise. I'm sorry.
No, this is why we have guests on, so we learned, what we're,
Yeah.
promoting and educating, and so it's all
Yeah,
all
we'll do
great
another
stuff.
show down there. I'm committing on TV to do
Yeah,
another
oh, good,
product
excellent,
show
yeah,
down at the senior
Yeah.
center.
yes, and maybe with a little lunch too, but we'll
There we
chat
go.
on that.
I can do that.
Busy month at the senior center.
It is a
I
busy
went over
month.
your flyer. There's a lot of stuff going
Yeah,
on.
Yeah,
Do you do a St. Patrick's thing, right? Yeah.
and right now, I think there's one ticket left, and after that, folks can go on a wait list.
That's great.
So, and Chef Pete will be cooking for that. He's doing corned beef and cabbage, of
Of
course.
course. Yeah.
And we've got some great entertainment coming in, so it should be a good time.
That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
What a resource that is.
The
definitely.
Irish don't eat corned beef and cabbage.
No, I know they don't. I know. I know that.
I
Yeah.
know. that came from when they first got here.
Americanized.
Yeah.
When they
cheap meat.
were living
Yeah,
with
right.
with Polish and
Yeah,
Lithuanian people, and they do the corned beef and cabbage.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We gotta go.
All right.
Okay. Thank you. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.